Hey everyone, JD here. Today we have the unboxing of the Aviax H2O. This quadcopter is rated as being waterproof and it is made by GP Toys. Alright then, let's open her up and let's have a quick little look. Oh, it's quite smart. Looks like some assembly is going to be required. Okay, let's move the box out of the way for a second. Okay, so here we have it. As you can see, the quadcopter itself is I'd say about 3/4 assembled. There's no gear rods. There's no gear rods at all for this time being. There's no propeller guards, no propellers. So we've got pretty much just a basic shell of a quadcopter. Okay, on the underside looks pretty much like your standard quadcopter. You've got your green lights and you've got your orange lights there. The orange lights on this particular model would be the forward motion on the quadcopter, and the green lights would be at the back, so you could tell exactly which way the quadcopter is faced. Alright, so let's have a quick little look. Let's see if it's, it comes with, there we are, pretty standard 3.7 volt 650 milliamp hour battery. Now this would be charged off USB, as it's quite a low milliamp hour and quite a low voltage as well. It's under the 5 volt USB limit, so that would be a USB charged battery. Okay, let's put that to one side and let's focus more on this quadcopter. Okay, the battery bay door does seem very flimsy, so you're going to want to take care when you're closing that. This particular model does not come with a camera. There is another model of this waterproof quadcopter that does come with a camera. I purposely didn't buy it because I would, on the flight test, I'm going to want to throw her about a bit and see exactly how waterproof she is, or at least rated to be. So you've got the antenna on the top there, nice little on the top antenna, just to ensure the best signal from the transmitter to this quadcopter. Okay, so you've also got little rotation symbols, so this will tell you exactly which way the blades are turning when the quadcopter is on. They are very handy to have. Right then, okay, so let's clear this up a little bit and let's look at assembling this quadcopter. So you've got the propeller guards, 4 of them, for the 4 propellers, so they're quite tidy to have. Got a bag full of propellers and gears, so that's exactly what we need. So let's have a little look at these propellers as well. I should imagine there's something else in there as well. What's that? Oh, that's obviously the antenna for the transmitter. Okay, so I'll put that down for the time being. We won't be needing that for just quite yet. So let's have a little look at these propellers. So you've got, okay, yeah, you've got, as you're basically going to have to build this as much as the gears and the propellers. You've got little letters on the propellers. So I don't know if you can see, if I hold that up to the camera there, you can see that this propeller is propeller A, and then likewise you should have 2 A's, and you should, I'm guessing, have 2 B's. Yeah, there we are. So got 2 A propellers and 2 B propellers, and essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put 1A one side and 1A directly opposite it, and then likewise B on one side and B directly opposite it as well. Now the manual that it comes with does show you exactly which ones go where, because otherwise if you put them on the wrong side you're going to have the front which will actually be the back, and vice versa. So it's not going to fly right, it's not going to fly well, it'll end up crashing and you'll end up damaging it before you go any further. Now what I've managed to memorize this from the manual itself. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put on A on the front and A on the back, and then likewise you're going to put B on the front and B on the back. So in order to do this, actually, are there any screws or anything? Oh, that's really neat. It comes with a second battery, same milliamp hour, same voltage as the other one, 650 milliamps an hour and 3.7 volt, again chargeable off USB. So that's quite neat. I've not yet tested a quadcopter that's come with 2 batteries. That's brilliant. You'll get roughly, as we are talking about the batteries, you'll get best part of 7 minutes out of it. So with both of them, 14 minutes, and it takes about 45 minutes to charge. So to be honest with you, 14 minutes flying, that's actually very, very good. So, oh, there we go. We've got another accessory pack with a little screwdriver. That is going to be needed for, it looks like the propeller guards, because what else I'm looking at here as well is we've got the screws for the propellers, but we've also got little safety clips as well. And I'm guessing these safety clips look as if they're going to be for the propellers. I don't want to lose any of these screws, so I'm going to put these away. Okay, so it looks like there's another clip in there as well for the propeller. Let's get this one out of the bag. It's been a bit tricky. Come on you, there we go. So I'll put some of these screws away because they are, as I'm sure a lot of you will know from when you've had to put on propellers before in a quadcopter, they are ridiculously small. As you can see there, they are really small and very easy to lose. And then the next thing you know about it is when you're going through the hoover, with the hoover you're picking them all up. Alright, so let's flip her over for the time being. Now we've got a tiny little cog on each of the propeller arms. Now these little cogs are going to fit just quite snugly like that. I don't know if you can see that properly there. So you can see as you turn the propeller arm itself, that will turn the small cog here, and then that's what will give you the motion. So on the little propeller guard as well, on the little propeller cog rather, there's a tiny little hole, a lot like the H26D that I've reviewed as well, and assembly guide. You've got a little screw hole on the propeller as well. You're going to want to marry those two up as best you can. So then I'm pushing quite snugly. It is quite a snug fit. And then you've got your little clip, which instead of screwing in, you're going to just want to push in until you have got the propeller completely on that cog there, attached to the motor. And then once you've finished, just push this little pin in, and then the one side, I don't know how well you can see that, but the one side will clip onto the propeller, and that then will ensure that it doesn't fly off, or that it doesn't damage the quadcopter. Okay, so we're going to repeat this step for the other 3 cogs and 3 propellers. So what side is that? That's A. So we're going to want opposite to do the same letter. So A again. And then once you've got the holes married up, then it's just quite simple just to push in that little pin. Once again, there's the finished product. Pin attached through the propeller, which again is attached onto the propeller mounting there. Okay, so for the second, if I put this down, you should probably see we've got A and A. So there we go, we've got 2 propellers attached. It didn't take very long at all. Likewise, we're going to do the same. Now ensure this time the propellers say B, and it's pretty much exactly the same. Push the propeller prop all the way through, then marry up the 2 holes in the propeller and the prop. Once you've done that, then push the little pin that you've got in once again. There we are, perfect. Couple of seconds and it is completely attached. Right, now for the final one, which will be this side. So there we go, on we go, that's in. And then just checking that the letter B is used, and then marry up the 2 holes. I know this is quite repetitive, but there we go, perfect. So there we have it. So if I put this down for the second now, we have got propeller A and A, propeller B and B. Now that should enable a very stable and nice flight. So I've also noticed that in the packaging as well, you have the skids. Now these skids don't look very firm at all, but I'm sure once, because they've got 2 little dowels, per skid, as you can see here, two there, they've got 4 in total. I'm pretty sure once you affix these, they're going to be quite secure, but just in your hand they don't feel very good at all. Okay, so with this we've got the 4 holes underneath the quad, and what you're going to want to do is just push that in. Be very careful. Okay, there we go. Oh, that is a very snug fit. So essentially the way that this is going to look once it's connected is like that. So you've got a little kick in the skid there as well, and then likewise when we fitted this one, there we go. So that'll clip in there, that'll clip in there, and there we have it. We have, this is obviously the back of the quadcopter, because you can tell that because of the antenna. There we have it. We have a quadcopter with 4 propellers, 2 skids attached, and to be honest with you, if I hold this table, because the table is quite wobbly, the quadcopter itself is very stable. So I'm very happy with that indeed. I'm actually enjoying these little pins a lot more than I was the screws. So yeah, that in itself is probably a way the things are going to go in the world of quadcopter, and I hope so, because the screws are so fiddly, especially for somebody with big hands. So there we have it. So we've got a couple of other propellers here which are purely spares, so we should have 2 Bs, yeah, there we are, 2 Bs and 2 As. It's nice actually, because normally they just give you yeah, there we are, just give you another 1 of each, but fortunately they've given you an extra 2. So we're just going to put these back in the bag. I'll just do the bag up and we'll just put that back in there. Okay, so there we have it. We have that connected and all ready to go. Now the final piece, and whether or not you want to put these on yourself is entirely up to you. I would definitely recommend putting on the propeller guards in a much larger quadcopter, a lot like the JGRC H26D, purely because the blades spin so fast that any sort of guard that will stop you hurting yourself is most definitely a plus. The smaller quadcopters, the Seamers, this particular one as well, the propellers will spin quite quick, but they're also made of a much thinner plastic than the other ones as well, so they are going to hurt if they hit you, but probably not as much. Another thing that you should be aware of, if you do put the propeller guards on, be careful around trees, because if the branch gets stuck in the propeller guard, then it's even more difficult to get it out of a tree. If you're new to my channel, have a look at some of my other videos. I'm quite used to getting quadcopters stuck in trees. So there we go. Right, so we're just going to start off on the underside. I don't know how well I can show you this. I'm going to put the quadcopter down for a second. On the underside of this, oh there we are, that's not too bad. You've got 2 dowels and a little hole in the middle there. Now this little hole is for the screws, so we're going to screw them in, and the 2 dowels should fit in quite snugly, just to make sure that the finished product is very sturdy. So, oh, right, that is most definitely very very sturdy, very stiff to push in as well. Oh god, that one doesn't even fit. Let's try it again. Oh, I think I can see what the problem was there. Right, okay, let's try that again. Come on. There we go. That one was a very snug fit. So there's 2 on, 1A and 1B. Now we'll do the other A, and then we'll do the other B. So we'll just put this on and we'll snap it in. There we go. It's actually much easier on the table. Who would have thought? Right, so there we go. So there we have it. We have a quadcopter with 4 propeller guards, 4 propellers, 4 props with gears, and the landing sprigs as well. There we go. So we have a fully assembled quadcopter. Now all that remains is just to screw in these little screws into the tiny little holes right there. So you're going to need 1 on each of the propeller guards. I'm not going to do this in this particular video. I'll make sure they're done up and all screwed in before we take it out on the maiden flight in another couple of days. but make sure you do screw them in if you do indeed use the propeller guards. And the propellers, all, there we are, perfect. They don't touch the propeller guards. Perfect spacing. So there we have it. That is the Aviax H2O fully assembled. Now let's talk about the transmitter, because this quadcopter does a few funky little things that I haven't seen yet on any other quadcopter. So let's put the batteries away, let's move this, let's take out there we go. So let's move the box out of the way. Okay, so in the packet as well you'd have, as we looked at earlier, the little antenna that would just clip into the top of the transmitter. It's quite a definite click when it goes in, no screwing, just plug in and you're away to go. Right, so this transmitter, it's actually, build quality is very good. With a lot of transmitters, they put a lot of effort, with a lot of manufacturers, sorry, they put a lot of effort into making the quads, and the transmitters then I often feel quite plasticky, and you can just run your fingers along the outside and you would see that the plastic doesn't meet properly. This one is the opposite. The quadcopter is a very, very sturdy model, very well made, and the same is reflected in this controller. So no hover, no altitude hold on this particular quadcopter, but obviously you can make it hover just by making sure that you just slowly move the controller slightly. You've got your 4 trim buttons for stabilization, which is pretty standard, and you've got another 2 buttons down here. These 2 buttons are very, very important. The top one, this particular button, is for cruise control. So this quadcopter has a very short-term memory where it'll remember the last 40 seconds of your flight. Then as long as you've got the right altitude, as long as you push this button, then it'll take over, and as long as you have to maintain its altitude, it doesn't maintain its own altitude, but once you are in control of that, it'll then move around and move to the last 40 seconds that it remembers. So if you've gone forwards, backwards, and round, then the quadcopter will mimic those particular movements again. So that's going to be interesting when we take it out to try that. And the bottom one is return to home. So again, if you're facing the quadcopter forwards and you push this button, then it will go across the same trajectory. a bit difficult to say that. So it'll come back to you the same way as it went. So if you manage to spin the quadcopter around, and if you started it coming this way, and then if you call it going that way, it'll then go the opposite way, so it'll actually go away from you. So before you push the return to home button on any quadcopter that has return to home, make sure you're facing it the right way and make sure you don't turn it, otherwise it can turn out to be a complete disaster. So there we have it. We've got a couple of other buttons as well. One of the shoulder buttons up here, this particular one is to do stunts, so you hold this one down, click it once, then the transmitter will beep erratically, and then you can move the positional controller there, and the quadcopter will flip forward, side to side, whichever direction then you then push. So there we have it. Nice little telemetry screen at the bottom as well. Hopefully when we get to turn this on, you're going to be able to see in the video as well. I'll try and show you the picture of the quadcopter and all the power ratios as and how you push the controllers. You should see the power being reflected down here as well. This particular model, those 2 buttons don't do anything, and if you've got the camera, then I imagine that this shoulder button as well up here would be to control that, and in fact these 2 buttons down here might also do the same if you have the camera model. But there we have it. Nice little controller, very well made. All in all, to be honest with you, I'm pretty impressed with this, because of all the time that we look at the controllers, I always say to you, we open the back cover and we say, oh look, it's going to take 4 AA batteries, make sure they're non-rechargeables, whereas this particular transmitter has got a charging bay in the side. So it's got no particular hardware in there, so if you're a modder or if you know a lot about electrics, then you can put your own charging port in there, so you can then charge rechargeable batteries off a USB port. So that's also something that you don't see in a lot of cheaper quads. You see it in a lot of the most expensive ones, yes, because you don't want to be changing batteries left, right and centre, and it's a lot easier to charge one particular device than it is to take out all four, and you might lose them and whatever. So there we have it. This is the Aviax H2O, and to be honest with you, I'm actually really looking forward to flying her. So a couple of things now about the actual quadcopter from a technical point of view. The battery will take about 45 to 50 minutes to charge, which is pretty standard. You'll get 7 to 8 minutes flight time out of it, and then of course you have the two batteries. So that's going to be between 14 and 16 minutes over the two. So hopefully that's going to be something that we're going to be looking at in the couple of days when we take her up for a flight. You've got power settings just by clicking down this particular button as well, that I did forget to mention, and it'll cycle through its speed, so from slow to a little bit faster to medium to very fast. So it's, instead of having 3 presets, it has 4. And of course it is waterproof. Now again, it's been raining quite hard down here with me for the past couple of days, so when we take this out, the ground is probably going to be absolutely sodden, so we'll see exactly how well she fares there. Alright then folks, well, thank you very much for watching. Once again, if you'd like to subscribe, then please do, and if you like it, then please give us a thumbs up. Alright then guys, well, you look after yourself, and I'll see you in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, bye bye.